right, so you moved in, kind of get settled in, classes begin, freshman year. You got fraternities there trying to get you to join fraternities. You're meeting other people. You've got all these social things going on. You're trying to juggle some classes that, oh, it's suddenly hard. You look at the syllabus. Oh, you begin to get overwhelmed. This is not, this is where reality kicks in. 40% of college students do not graduate in 6 years. Were they prepared? Obviously not. We're going to be talking about why college students aren't, or why students aren't prepared for college in this video. It's really going to be 5 factors that are most common in the troubles that freshmen have in college. First is academics. They aren't prepared academically. Second is the financial challenges and hardships. Third is the stress and the mental health issues that come with that stress, the anxiety and depression. Fourth is that self-discipline and being able to manage their life. It's kind of mindset related. Then they don't really fully comprehend the economic consequences of dropping out of college. All those things we're going to be talking about in this video. One of the sad things about our state of education today, you got 33% of freshmen nationwide need remedial courses when they enter college. They aren't prepared. They aren't prepared in math and reading for college. When you aren't prepared academically, and you have those struggles academically, if you don't have some of those other skill sets that we'll be talking about, you're not going to be able to perform well enough to stay in school. I'll tell you about this baseball player who went to a Division III university. The university was, not really thought of really high academically. Certainly, like, the academics were okay, but not really high standards academically. And he was an outstanding baseball player. Academically, though, he was not prepared for the challenges, even at this moderately challenging university. And as good as he was with baseball, as much help as they gave him with, like, study halls and, like, here's some tutors, get some help, like, we'll do what we can. His unpreparedness for that and some of the other things that come from knowing that you're having a hard time making it. And it's not always, I say this lots of times, it's not always your intellectual ability or your academic skill set. Sometimes, maybe even many of the times, it's the mindset that you bring into the school about school and about learning that impacts your habits and your discipline and the other things that are probably the greatest obstacle for the academic piece, which is getting the grades you need to stay in school. That's exactly what happened to this baseball player. Despite how good he was, he didn't make it through his freshman year. 60% of college students who drop out say that the reason was financial challenges, financial issues. 70% of kids in college got to work at least 20 hours a week. And that obviously adds a whole lot of stress. They're trying to do college, trying to enjoy college, do college, and work. And all that begins to wear them down, factors into the dropping out. When I was a freshman in college and I pledged a fraternity, 14 of us in the pledge class, 6 didn't come back the second semester. And at least 5 of them, and maybe even the 6th, I don't remember exactly. One of the significant challenges they had during that semester when we were pledging was money. And they were stressing over it then. Financial aid issues, work issues, trying to do school, trying to do all those things they wanted to do in school and pay for it became too much. And they didn't come back. And none of those came back to school. Not one of them. And the consequences of that we'll be talking about in a moment. The numbers being reported on college students and others, but college students for this video who are experiencing anxiety and depression are really kind of disturbing. 60% of college students say they have overwhelming feelings of anxiety, overwhelming, and 40% with depression. That's really high numbers. It's dangerously high numbers. Those sort of mental health issues, you also begin to see kind of the behaviors that can go with that as they try to self-medicate lots of times, right? A lot of the drinking and drugs and illicit sex and things that you kind of think about in the college, the wild girls and all the college kind of things, oftentimes are a result of all those emotions and the mental health issues that they're trying to compensate for. So I had a roommate after I transferred from our local university up to the flagship university in my state. My good friend from elementary school and I had got introduced to this other guy, and we needed another roommate, and he could afford the apartment that we're moving into off campus. Well, we didn't know him real well. We were introduced to him through another friend, but he developed a drug problem. He had some real mental health issues that he was self-medicating on. The escape from some of the anxiety that he was experiencing and the stresses of being there. He was trying to compete in track and field, do his school. He's away from home. All these issues were weighing on him, trying to fit in, and he reached to drugs and alcohol. Well, he didn't make it through that year. That was our junior year in college, and he didn't make it through. He had to leave school to get help, and he never got back. Beyond the academic piece where kids have to take 30% remedial classes because they aren't prepared academically, the other academic component that they aren't really prepared for is a habits of self-discipline to study well and properly and to get to class and all these sort of self-discipline kind of ideas that end up impacting their ability to perform academically. They don't get enough sleep, they miss class, they don't get their homework done. This is all discipline, this is all mindset kind of related things. And 45% of students say they study less than 15 hours a week when the expectation is for that to be much greater. And I know because I was one of them. School came easy to me in high school, and I could do well in school with a little bit of studying that I did, and I was involved in all kinds of things. So I go to college, and I am taking physics, and I'm taking calculus, and I'm taking a full load of tough classes, and I'm going to pledge a fraternity, and I'm playing fall baseball. And I had no good study habits, no good self-discipline, no really nothing to fall back on. So taking a 4 o'clock in the afternoon calculus class when I'm kind of exhausted at the end of the day for doing all these other things in a challenging class that's not like that one met, I think, once a week. Physics class at a different time. I was overwhelmed, way over my head. And I ended up being put on academic probation after that first semester because I was so ill prepared with the self discipline aspect and the habits I needed to do. Now, I corrected in the second semester, but most kids don't, and they end up dropping out. If you're a college dropout, you're going to earn $1.2 million less than those who get their college degree on average. And you're going to be far more likely to be unemployed, twice as likely, as a matter of fact, which contributes to one of the reasons you are going to be earning less over your lifetime. The second thing is the jobs you get, you might be able to get a decent paying job, the no advancement opportunities or less advancement opportunities. So, for example, I knew a young man who was a really good athlete, went to college, struggled academically, spent, college is expensive, right? So 1 year in college, invested that money, and just it wasn't going to make it. Like, just wasn't putting in the work, just wasn't putting in the things that he needed. Got a decent job on a road crew, and that's what he's done. Lots of overtime. Young guy, so he's got cash, making some decent money, but there's no real, for who he's working for, there's very little advancement opportunities. He's going to be kind of capped at what he's likely to earn. Now, I'm a mindset guy, so he could certainly change the direction of his life, whether he goes back to college or not. You've just made the road that much more difficult because he couldn't develop some of those skills, mindset related skills, to be able to persevere and get through college, to have more opportunities and more of a chance to make that 1.2 more extra $1 million over the course of his lifetime. So that's the cost of dropping out of college. All these stories I told today really exemplify one thing: the importance of mindset, because each one of those things can really be pointed right back to your mindset. So I strongly encourage you to really work on some of these mindset issues so that you can be adequately prepared for college. I encourage you to subscribe to our channel, and you might even be particularly interested in the video how to learn from life experiences, or rather how life experiences prepare you for college. So you can check that video out today, and I will see you in the next one.